Hey, how's it going, YouTube? My name's John Cam, and in this video, I want to show you how to put brakes on a Chevy Malibu, 2019. Now, basically, you just need some basic tools, just pretty much a jack, so you can jack up the wheel, support, just to have additional support. And I also have another tool that you see on the ground to the right, which is a caliber compression tool. With that tool, it allows you to compress it, as I stated. But you're gonna need some bricks to kind of stabilize the back parts of the wheels. The wheels that's not gonna be used, so those back wheels don't roll on you. As you can see here at the bottom, you'll see that the bricks are behind the wheels. That'll stop you, so when you jack it, it doesn't roll back as you jacking up the car. So now we just need to take the tire off. So here's my attempt to taking off the tire. Now I'm pulling my pins, but that my pants probably gonna fall down a couple times because I don't have on the belt. So unfortunately, you may see my pants come down. But anyway, ignore that. We're gonna get into the video as of jacking up the car. So right now I'm attempting, right now to find the location to put the jack on and then jack up the vehicle. Now I didn't show this part, but there is a specific spot where you should put your jack. And it's right at the edge. It's kind of like a thin metal. And also it also has like a indent in it. Right there is where you want to put the jack at, and then you want to pump it up. Like them shoes that pump. You want to pump it up. But anyway, you want to make sure the tire is off the ground. As you see, I put my hand under the tire so you can see that there's space from the ground. Now I'm going to put on the support. Now this is not necessarily needed. I just never used this before, so I just want to, see it in action. I just never used the support jack before, whatever you call them, they support stands. I normally just jack it up and then start doing the work and leave it on the jack. But in this case, I just want to, use this tool because I never used it before. All right, so now it's all jacked up and we're ready to take the tire off. Now there's 5 nuts on just about every tire that's out there. And all you gotta do is unscrew it and take the tire off. With this particular wheel though, it has a key lock. So you will need a special key to take the nut off. Otherwise, if you don't have that key, that special key, then you'll have to break that nut off in order to get the tire off. Now I didn't show it here, but I think towards the end, I'll show you what it looks like, the key and the nut that goes to the key. And ignore what you see, my pants falling. I'm not trying to sag. I'm just trying to do some work here, that's all. All right. Now I'm showing the whole process. I prefer to show from beginning to end as opposed to showing you bits and pieces. Because sometimes when they show bits and pieces, you miss. There's something that's missed in that process. Now this here, the tire came off perfectly. But I'm gonna let you know now. In most cases, if you have an older vehicle, maybe 10 years older, it may be difficult to get that wheel off, and the nuts too, because of the rust, and it kind of welds itself onto the elements to the vehicle. But in this case, I was able to get the wheel off real easy, and then I also stuck it underneath the vehicle to give it more support, just in case it falls off of the support. I have the tire to keep it on from hitting the ground. Now we're looking at the caliper, and there's 2 screws on the back of the caliper that you need to take off. And you have to find out which size it is, because it's, for every vehicle it's not going to be exactly the same. So I'll show, I think I have a 14, yeah, it's a 14 that I use here to take it off. Now, I normally use a ratchet, but I didn't feel like looking for the ratchet. I found the wrench first, so I said I'll just use the wrench. Unless it's too tight, then I would have used the ratchet, but it wasn't that tight, so I was able to just pull it off. Now, I skipped showing that part because it was hard holding the phone and trying to unscrew these nuts off, so I kind of skipped that part. But just know that I used the 14 wrench and I unscrewed these nuts. Now that I got the nuts off, all we have to do is take the caliper off. And once you take the caliper off, you'll be able to get to the actual brakes that you need to replace. So also, you don't want the caliper just laying straight down, because there's a tube that's connected to it, and you don't want that tube to break or fall apart. So you want to at least sit it up on top of the rotor, and then so it doesn't damage it. So now I'm taking off the actual brakes, and as you can see, they're worn down real bad. And also you have to take off the back part, because there's one on the back as well that you have to take off. And it can be a struggle, because this stuff gets kind of welded together on its own, so you got to force it off. You can stick something in between the rotor and the brake to get it off, like I did with the wrench. Just be careful not to damage the rotor while doing it. I don't think you will, but just do it lightly. You don't have to do it real hard, trying to force it off real hard. Just do it little by little, and eventually it'll come off. Now you see I'm struggling a bit because it's difficult, but finally I had to move these little clips off because it was kind of in the way, I guess you could say. Now put it to the side, and now we're forcing it off. It's coming off. It's been a little pain. So you're gonna run into stuff like that. It's gonna be a pain in the butt to get it off, but just keep prying at it. Eventually it'll pop off. And as you can see, it's worn down a whole lot. So I'm gonna show you how it's supposed to look as opposed to what it looks like now. So this is what it looks like now. It's pretty much worn down. There's no more brakes. So that's why I'm fixing it, because the wifey said, hey, I hear a lot of squeaking. So there's the new ones, and that's how it should look. It's real thick, and it should last for I don't know how long they actually last. These are cheap ones, but they work just as good as any other brakes. So I'm gonna put them on, and it goes one in the back, one in the front, just the same way we took it off. We put it on. Just have to line it up with the grooves of that metal piece within inside of the caliper housing. Now I did forget to show that to put grease on the brake pad and parts of the rotor on the caliper. So to keep it from making that screech noise and stuff like that, you want to put some lubricant on it, some brake lubricant. I didn't show this part, so I ended up at the end having to redo this process all over again. Take that wheel off, redo it, because I did the other side after this, and was able. But just know that on the back of the brake, just put it on that black plate that you see on the back of the brake, right, the brake pad, and you just smear the grease all on that brake pad. Well, now that we got that on, so now we got to get the caliper and put it back on. But before we put that caliper on, we have to push the cylinder within that caliper down, so that the brace, so you can put the caliper back on. Because if you don't push that cylinder down, you won't be able to put the caliper back on. Because there's not enough space between the inside of there as you can see when I'm showing you, if you push that cylinder down flat to the the housing, then you have enough room to put the caliper over the brake pads and the rotor. Now I'm using this tool, and I'm gonna let you know now, this tool is a failure tool for the front part, because the problem is the part with the threads on it, which is it's like a screw. It's not long enough for the front pads. It works good for the back pads, because I used it for the for a Volkswagen, and it works perfectly. But if you try to use it for the front part, as you can see, I'm having issues here where it gets stuck right here because I can't turn no more, and that's because the part that's threaded it's not enough to push it down. Push the cylinder down. So basically, what I have to use is a C-clamp, because at this point you can't use this tool. So I had to just remove it and put the C-clamp on. So just for future references, if you ever doing the front brakes, use the C-clamp. It's a lot easier, a lot faster. The tool that comes with it, this might be a cheaper tool, I'm not sure, but it worked good for the back brakes. I think because of the houses are different from the front and the back, that's why. So now, as you can see, we have a C-clamp, which makes it really, really easy. It takes a few seconds to get this done. So what you want to do, though, you want to make sure that the C-clamp is straight and not like sideways or crooked inside of that cylinder. Otherwise it won't, usually it won't move if it's sideways. But if you put it directly in the middle of the cylinder, like you see here, and then start to twisting it, you will see that the cylinder will start to depress into the cylinder housing, as you can see here. I'm doing it now, and it's just easily just going and going and going down. And this is what you want to happen. You want it to go down, that way you can fit the caliper back onto the brakes. So now that that's done, we're going to put it back on. And again, like I said, I forgot to do the grease part, but always remember, you see that circular part, put some on that circular part and behind the brake pads. And that's it. Just put a little bit of grease there, and that's it. It's not, you don't need a lot, just a little bit to kind of coat it, like you, I guess, painting us, I guess. But anyways, we putting this back on, and then all we doing is just sliding it back into place. You may have to push where you got the screw part in, because it's kind of like a rubber piece that moves in and out. And I guess that's for flexibility of the brakes. But as you can see, you want to line the screw in. I'm probably going to have a little issues here trying to line the screw up, but yes, you have to line the screw up to get it in there. So that's probably why you don't see me doing it, because I'm trying to line it up. But eventually, it'll get in there and you line it up and screw it on. And you just do both of them like that, and then come back and use your wrench and tighten it back down. And here we go. You got your wrench. Now I'm using, like I said, a 14, but yours may be different than mine. It may be a 13. It could be a 12. It all depends on the vehicle, but I think most vehicles, is always going to be 2 screws that hold the caliper together onto the brake system. So now that's done. The next thing is to put the tire back on. So this is, the easy part. If you know how to change a tire, you really don't need to know this. You can skip this and go to the end. I mean, the main part was the brakes. You just need to know how to do the brakes. You have to take off the tire. But also, this gives you an opportunity to take a look at your tire too while it's off, to see if it's any good, any holes, see if you need to replace your tire because it's starting to wear out, stuff like that. So it gives you that opportunity. So now we put the tire back. And yeah, that's it. I mean, for the most part, there's not much more to changing the brakes. But I just like to show the whole process from beginning to end, from the start when I first put the wheel, lift the wheel up, all that. I like to just show everything. Now, I think right here, it was a point where I wanted to show you the lock. The lock, what you call it, nut. So that's the tool right there that you use to take it off. And then I'm gonna show you also what it looks like as far as the nut itself. And that's pretty much what it looks like. And you just use that to lock it so nobody can steal your rims, you know. And the only way they can get it off, they have to break it off. That'll be the only way, unless they can find the key. Otherwise, without that key, they have to take it off and ignore what you see on the screen. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much all. I mean, I do have something at the end of this video that I want to talk about. It's pretty much about the tire. Well, I was having issues with the other tire. Sometimes what happens is, you know, these rims will get stuck onto the what did you call it? The drums in there. They get kind of like welded on over time. And that's what I was having issues with that. Now, the best ways to get it off is pretty much just hitting it, kicking it, whatever you can do to get it off. You just want to, you know, kick it and loosen it, whatever. You can also use some WD-40 and put it between the rim and the drum, and it over time will eventually pop off. But I just prefer just keep kicking it and pulling at it until it come off. But yeah, this is it, folks. I mean, if you like this video, you know, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. I definitely would try to do the back brakes soon, because I will be doing the back brakes soon. So I'll upload that one as well if you want to know how to do the back brakes. It should be similar to the front brakes as well. So I will be showing that. And I'm thinking about just showing different things on this channel, just some random things, whatever things, because I do a lot of different things. So I just want to just show a lot of, you know, if I can help somebody do something, I'll just, you know, put it on this channel, and maybe it'll help you, you know how to do something, you know. I'm also, if you are watching web design, I'm still going to try to do some web design stuff. I know I haven't done the website like I was supposed to, but I will get to that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Where's the end part? I think it's right here. Here we go. So you see I got all the nuts off, and the tire is still stuck on because it won't come off. It's stuck. And you're going to run into this problem. So just so you know, be prepared to run into problems when doing any type of vehicle repair or maintenance or whatever you got to do. It's going to always be something rusted on real tight, and it's going to be hell to deal with. So as you can see, I'm banging and banging and banging, and that's it, folks. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.